What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders and closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I am back, was off yesterday, had Stephen King fill in. He did an absolute bang up job rocking that NVIDIA train. So sweet. So sweet. But what else is so sweet? All the party people in the house. We got Chuck joining us for the party. We got Al. Good morning, Alex, Bill. We got Brian. Ephraim, did I say that correctly? Good morning, Fayaz, Franco, Greg K is in the house, Jay Linder, of course. Good morning. We got Joe, Lauren, Mark, Martina, Ray, Rock is with us, Sky, Tony, Win, Wally, all my peeps in YouTube land, Richard, Jed, David, Cooks. Good morning to all you guys, all you lurkers in the background of YouTube, not commenting anything. Good morning to all of you as well. We do appreciate you guys hanging out with us this morning. Let's see what the market is doing. Let's pull up the SPY. We did have some employment numbers come out earlier today. Tomorrow, tomorrow's gonna be weird actually, because tomorrow we do got non-farm payrolls, which is actually going to be a bigger market mover than today's numbers. I think that's what we're kind of looking for, but the market is closed. So Chuck took off yesterday too. All right, we're on the same schedule. I like it. But yeah, the market's closed tomorrow, so it's the numbers still come out. We still are going to get the non-farm payrolls, but we're obviously not going to see the reaction. Futures, I believe, will be open for sometimes not the full day. So if anybody does want to see the kind of the response from the number, how the market takes it, the futures are going to be the way to watch that and see how that kind of plays out as the entire market's closed. But then on top of it, we do have a full weekend, 3-day weekend to kind of think about the numbers, and then maybe Monday becomes a decent reaction to it one way or the other. Chris says, so no one will be holding over tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know. We're in a very strange time in the market. You have very strong headed bulls. You got very strong headed bears. You also got both those strong headed bulls and bears just flipping as soon as the market changes. So, and then you have a lot of cash on the side. You still got a lot of cash. Chris says, so selling at the end of the day. It's possible, right? But if they have their thesis and they can either sell at the end of the day, or they could end up picking up protection, buying some puts, buying some calls, just kind of hedging some of the positions. So it doesn't necessarily have to be pure dump at the end of the day. But that being said, look where we're opening today on the SPY. So a little bit of a gap down, still inside day. Right now, we now have this spot from, I believe that's 4 days ago. That's somewhere around 407.03. We did push below that. We're kind of sitting right at it for right now. We do have yesterday's VPOC as some type of 407.33, probably going to be resistance. We have another one up here, which is 408. We have another one. So we're starting to build those levels up here, and there's not a lot of levels to the downside. Probably the next level, 404.75, would be my first target. That would cover into that VWAP. That would also be to the low end of pretty much this retest gap that didn't really retest. I mean, it got very close, I guess, from where it opened. But yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to hang on. And then we got some of the moving averages starting to roll in, so that could give us some support. But for day trade basis, I would love to see this be a retest gap, get a little bit further up. So like 407.33, start rejecting that, and then get down below this 407.03. If that happens, I think that's our ideal trade to the downside. We got a lot of room, whether it ends up fading all the way down or stopping there, whichever case. I think that's where our risk reward comes into play. Scott is in the house. Ayush, good morning. Ayush wants VZT, bearish gap and go. AMAT, bearish retest. Lauren wants BTI. Wayne says full moon today. Maybe. Good morning, Ron. Attorney Dan is in the house. We got Hector in the house. All right, let's check out the cues real quick. Then we'll get into some of those tickers. And then I'll pull up a couple tickers that I'm watching as well for this morning. But cues, yep. So this one, the cues are a little bit to the weaker side. We are still inside day. We are kind of at one of the moving averages right now, but we're a lot lower on the day. We should have a really, really strong resistance. 315.38 is now the zone that we want to break through. All of this is still, right now, it's a pullback. Right now, we haven't changed directions. We're just pulling back. This is a massive move. Even if we were to do a 618 on the cues from the last kind of pop, that's going to put us at 313.30 would be a 50%. 311.31 gives us the 618. So this very well could be just some pullback, profit taking, and then we moon Lambo from there. But after this 311.31, it starts to look a lot scarier, and we probably have to extend out this fib a little bit to see kind of where that next level is. So I'm not overly bullish, not overly bearish, and I think that's going to cause some a little bit of potential chop, but I think our risk to reward is to the downside. All right, let's get into BTI. British American Tobacco Industries. Say that 5 times fast. All right. Longer term, it's at a good support. Trying to see where the volume comes in. This is the candle. This is the candle right here with the most amount of volume to it. We're smack in the middle of that. We do have some resistance in the way, but that is a gap and go. And we did have a lot of volume yesterday. Was there news? Doesn't look like earnings. Walmart for Philip Morris get upgrades. Can either beat 5% money markets. That was 5 days ago from Barron's. Can you beat, what'd that say? Can you beat 5%? Can either beat 5% money markets. Ay. We'll see. It is a gap and go. We are at a little bit of resistance. Would love to see 1 or 2 candles come in as actually a retest, and then we can take a break out of it. But I do think it's a decent one to watch. To the higher side, though, we're going to probably only really get to take this thing to about 35.41. So that's actually going to probably limit some of the downside, unless for some reason we could break through that. We could break through that moving average that's coming down on it, then 35.66. It gives us about, the risk to reward might not be good. As a swing trade, it might be decent. We are at that longer term support. I mean, this is still a big, massive gap down, lots of fear, probably a little bit oversold. And we're about 50% of that move right now. So right now it's just kind of sideways chop with a lot of people in the bearish direction on it. Day trade wise, I was going to look at it a little bit closer, but even if we make it to the top range today, I think 35.66, it's probably not going to give us that much room, I don't think. If it moves anything like MO or Philip Morris or any of the companies in the industry, it's probably a little bit slower. All right, let's take a look at VZ. VZ does have, so this has been on a massive tear, especially for a communications company. 1, 2, 3, that's inside 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 days in a row. If you own this share if you own Verizon and not selling covered calls, you got to take the hedging with options class. you must venture into that zone. There's never a better opportunity than that. But yeah, so we got into a little bit of resistance up there. We kind of hit that previous VPOC. We're starting to fade. You're going to be fighting. I mean, this was a strong trend. This is a good gap down. Lots of volume did come in. I believe looks like the dividend gets paid out. So ex-dividend date is the 6th, so today. You would have to be in this thing by today if you want to collect a dividend. We do have that little bit of a gap down, and every single direction you're going to be fighting some of those bulls. I don't think it's going to be a fluid drop, but it looks interesting. It's definitely gap and go. You definitely had some more volume come in yesterday. But yeah, it's probably gonna be acting a little bit more like a retest. So probably gonna get some kind of bounce off 39.43 retest, and then probably you have a better shot to take it down. We got T, A, T, and T. Looks very, very similar. My guess, same type of thing. This one you might have a little bit more room on, but this is 1952. You probably get your bounce, some kind of resistance, and then I would treat this almost like a retest gap. So yeah, it's only one candle right now. Again, some little bit of increased volume, but nothing too crazy. And AT&T, Verizon, they are going to be a little bit tougher in terms of day trading. AMAT, I haven't looked at it in forever and a day. Deepak, good morning. Hope you're doing well. AMAT. This looks like a decent breakdown. So this is a retest gap. We are at a little bit of support. I love the fact that this pivot just got broken. Targets will probably get us into about 112.88. So I would play this as a retest gap. I'm not going to go long. There's not enough room to make money in the bullish direction on it. Let's see if we get any type of a bounce on AMAT. I'm going to add this one a little bit higher on the list. And we'll see if we get some kind of breakdown there. So retest, breakdown. We should have some decent room, I think, until about 1:30. We'll call it 113. Peter says cat. I say dog. All right. Caterpillar. Yeah, it seems to me like this entire industry is kind of getting lit on fire a little bit. Wide open gap as a swing trade. Even buying some puts makes sense. We have one little spot. I think we got one little location from back here that could get this thing saved. 212.79. Otherwise, pretty much a wide open gap. We're slightly above it, and then we have yesterday's. So I would imagine, so on these type of gaps, it's not really gapping, it is inside, but this is a lot of selling from the top. My guess is we get some kind of bulls to come in. If they were bullish, my guess before this thing just opens and collapses right through the gate, my guess is that something like this would happen first, and then that. Get some of these shorts off the table, let them take profit. We're into a decent kind of support zone. This would be the spot for some profit taking, and then this is the spot where they want to hammer it down again. So maybe let it chop around for a little bit. I don't think this is going to be an easy gap. If anybody is looking to short this thing, there is a wide open gap right in there that would take you to probably about 198-ish. So you can make a lot of money on this trade on the way down. I don't think it's going to be as easy as we open the gates and it flushes. I think it's got to chop around for a little bit, get some positions built, let some people take some money out. And then if we're going to get that break, that's where that should happen. But I like it. And then for day trade purposes, just kind of inside day right now. FDX had bullish gap and go yesterday. I think we'll have bullish continuation, although resistance is close. Let's take some of these lines off. 2, 3. Yep. I kind of agree with this. I kind of like this one. Let me see where that resistance is. Yeah, so we are going to have a little bit of resistance, but yeah, absolutely. This is This is yesterday a gap and go into the resistance, and we faded it. So gapped into some profit taking. I think today could be some kind of. I'm gonna watch this one on the list too. It'd be interesting to see what happens. But even if we're looking at just kind of liquidity, we have all that volume now on our backs, giving us some kind of support if we're going to try to attempt this thing bullish. And then probably the next spot on a swing I'd be looking for is about 243. So it still takes us about $10 higher, but after that point breaks, there's not a lot even into 275. So obviously that would be more swing trade basis. We're not really gapping today, obviously. So yesterday was the gap, and today we do have some kind of continuation. I like where we're opening on this one. So we're pretty much right at to where it looked like 2 seconds ago, slightly above. So it's going to be bouncing around a little bit, but yeah, I kind of like it. This is technically a high wave. The body is a little bit bigger, but it is a high wave indecision candle. And if we can get above there, we're probably going to still face some kind of resistance on this thing, maybe 235, but it doesn't look bad. We're just going to have to find a setup. I'm only going to go bullish on it, and don't want to take this one bearish whatsoever, but only if we get a setup. What do we got? 917. All right. Some of the ones that I was looking at for me, CRM. Again, looks probably a little bit like the Qs. I think we have room down into, which I think pre-market we've already dropped a little bit more. Kind of annoying, but yeah, I think we're also below that one moving average. To me, this looks a little bit kind of head and shoulder-ish. You definitely have that gap up, good kind of fade. We're breaking the lows. I'm looking at maybe like 192.17 is target one, and then maybe we could get to 191.36 probably. So I will be keeping that one kind of decent on the list. AMD, this is a retest gap. It's going to be an interesting one. So we have retest gap. What I like on this thing a lot is risk reward, right? And I just want to be as good as Stephen King, just fading some chips. You have a pretty clear head and shoulders, much clearer than the other one, but we've been looking at this head and shoulders for a while, right? We're like, okay, it's going to have to break down. We got a good close yesterday. Lower VPOC. This is a retest gap. So it's a retest gap, but it's also below that wick. So we do know that because there's a wick, there's obviously some buying that came in. So any of those bulls are trapped, and there's really just not a lot of resistance probably into this. What do we got? 87.57 zone. So I'm thinking, could this be the case? It's probably, I don't know if we open and flush. Well, before the market opens, we'll see if there's any pre-market support resistance, something like that maybe we could take a break on. But if we get this flush longer term, something back up to there, and then we get that rotation. That's what I think happens. So if we're able to capture any of this move, I think that would be decent. And then the other one I was looking at was Microsoft. I think Square was okay, but Microsoft looks decent too. So we do have some room on this one. Actually, it's gotten better since the market opened, since last time I looked at it, but 279.73 does give us about $2.20 to play with. It is a retest gap. This one's retesting. This one's already dropping a little bit further, so I think this one should retest a little bit harder. So this one I would be a little more patient and open. AMD, I might be interested to set something pre-market. We'll see. Let me take a look at Roku. Corey says Roku retest gap into support. Yeah, I agree with that. This looks like it is into my question is how much room can we make to the upside? So yeah, while we're gapping into a little bit of support, probably the bullish play would make sense. That's only going to give you probably about to 61.22. And then if you do retest into yesterday's VPOC, that's 61.55. That's a massively bearish engulfing candle. So I think this weakness I would almost, even though you're absolutely right, and we could kind of flip this chart a little bit too, but absolutely right. It is into a little bit of support. I do expect probably some kind of a bounce. If you're brave enough, you could probably play that to the upside, quick scalp pitch, something like that. I would like to see if we get into this range, anywhere into that range, and that would be my area to try to attempt to go short, and then see if we can break it. And also the reason I'm saying that too is it's not the cleanest. It's kind of like a sideways ish, but it's still there. I mean, this would be your head and shoulders. There's the left, there's the head, and then this is where it gets a little crazy, frustrating. All right. So let's say that's the right. Here is your neckline. We broke it. This is all coming in for a retest, almost a double top, something like that in this zone. And then I think if this thing breaks down, it should have some decent room to go south. Again, if you are a bull in Roku, you do not want us breaking down this this little kind of stutter step that we have in the market on Roku. So this level of consolidation, we've just been sitting sideways. It's pretty obvious if this thing starts to break, there's not a lot of support, right? At least $10 to the downside. On a $61 stock, that's a lot. So I do think in some way this is going to be heavily protected, but to me, it just doesn't seem like the strength of the bulls is really still here. V pocket overhead. Yeah, I do see some VPOC. Yes, somewhere like there. 61.20 would be a spot I'd really be interested in maybe going short, but it is at support. So you're probably going to get your bounce. It is a retest gap. I do expect the bounce here if you're looking for a quick target. Amazon retest gap. AMZN. I'll have to see where this one opens, to be honest. This is a retest gap. Maybe if we get 1 or 2K, I'm going to move this one higher on the list. I don't know that this is a full-on retest. We probably have a little bit of support. Man, the fact that this is going to get a little tricky. I like it more bearish than I do bullish. That being said, it is a retest gap. We could probably wait first couple minutes. I want to see how it really reacts around this 142. If it breaks the 142, then I would be expecting a little bit more. Otherwise, this kind of almost looks like a little bit of island reversal, which would be a very, very negative sign for Amazon. So we're cruising up, cruising up, cruising up. For anybody that's not familiar with island reversals, usually it's when you have your gap up. It's usually 3 or 4 days. So this one took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And we did kind of flush into it, but this is where you have your gap up and then you gap down below, which would be here. So that essentially creates this kind of island. Usually that's a very, very bearish sentiment for a stock. I wasn't really watching the market yesterday. I had some other activities, so I don't know why that selling is there, but that is a massively bearish engulfing candle. That one candle wiped out 1, 2, 3, 4 days of all bullish thought process, bullish buying. All right, how high up did I put Amazon high up on the list? Did I see cost? Let me take a look real quick at Delta first, and we'll take a look at Costco. Costco, there you go. Inverted head and shoulders, potentially. Not really, not, was this Delta? Yep, so you do have inverted head and shoulders. You're not really gapping. I guess you are, but you're still inside the day. So it is a gap. Technically, where did we get the close? So it's a little bit of a gap and go inside. Good hammer, though. If that thing holds, this might be the spot to try to look. It's too soon for me. On a swing trade basis, that would be a very, very interesting hammer to hammer doji thing to take a break of. kind of anticipating that is an inverse head and shoulders. I think they did sell a lot into it. Yep, we came off into some decent support. Yeah, we're about $7 to the downside. I don't know if that full move covers, but this could be the start of wave 3, probably to about 37.14. So it does look interesting. Costco, Yates not buying chickens there anymore. That would explain this gap. Yeah. Chicken sales down in one Costco in the country. Like, I don't want to be a part of that company anymore. Yeah, we got Costco. Big old gap. That's a retest gap. Pretty massive move. Was this on earnings or did they have news? 29 minutes ago, stock slip, index slip as U.S. jobless claimed. No, that can't be it. Costco Corp is down 2.5% in pre-market trades after the retailing giant said its U.S. core March comparable store sales grew, excluding impacts from changes in gasoline prices and foreign exchange. Analysts at Stifel Core figure missed the Wall Street consensus estimate. Oh, so he's still eating chickens. He's not keeping up with how many chickens he's missing what they guessed how many chickens. They said you probably gonna be eating 35 chickens a day, and he came in with like 30 chickens. Still not bad for a normal human being, but it didn't hit our guess. LEVI. Levi's. What do we got? 3 minutes? This one's kind of moving pretty quickly too. Maybe that's earnings. Yep. So earnings. Now this one's absolutely jumping all over the place for a $16 stock. I mean, even in the next 2 minutes, I don't know where this thing opens, but this is a pretty fairly large gap and go. Pretty bearish. I'd be curious about support around 1669 or 1644. So those are the two spots. I obviously have not seen the earnings yet, but it's too far for me to short. I don't know if I want to play it bullish yet. I'd rather play it bullish if it gets closer to maybe 1640 or 1660, and then I'd be looking for targets on that. But unfortunately, we only got like a minute left in the market. So all my peeps in YouTube land, I do appreciate you joining us each and every day. Keep in mind, the market is closed tomorrow, even though we do get some really good data sets coming in. And you just can't take advantage of it. So if you do want to do your hedging or you want to sell some shares, buy some shares, get ready for the weekend. It is a 3-day weekend. We also have Easter for anybody celebrating. So happy Easter to all you guys in YouTube land. And you guys are more than welcome to join us each and every day. We do this from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Just go to reallifetrading.com. We got all access pass. You guys can check it out there or any of the free education as well. You guys are incredible, and I'll catch you guys all next week. Take it easy, guys.